Hey, welcome back to another episode from Life from Living Well. My name is Richard. And before I start the podcast for this week, I quickly want to say big thank you to everyone that are providing support one way or the other to keep the community going, keep the podcast going. Thank you so much because you make it more easier for us to appear every day. Every week on this podcast. If you really want to know what this community do most of the time, you can check us out on our website at www.lifeforlivingwell.info. Once again, you can check us out at www.lifeforlivingwell.info. My name is Richard, and you can write to me directly at richard@lifeforlivingwell.info, or you can send the email to hello@lifeforlivingwell.info. So let's get started. So last week I talked about Joe Diary, about his adventure with 4 siblings. So we talked 2 weeks ago about the wind, which was the first of the siblings that he met, not particularly the older or the younger, but last week we also talked about him meeting fire, and his experience of fire was elevated him to where he is eventually. So the third of the sibling that is meeting this week, we call it water. But before I read Joe Diary out, I quickly want to brought you back to last week. If you didn't have a chance to listen to that podcast, but the podcast is still there if you are willing to read about it. But to summarize Joe's experience of meeting the fire, is about fire open Joe's eyes, about the misconception of people, about people like fire that always listen to their hearts, and they take a lot of their decision and action based on their natural instinct. And what that lesson or that story of Joe was telling us about fire characteristics is about me and you to be able to listen to our heart more, because a lot of people today are always in their heads, so they even thinking what they're feeling. And what you actually feel, you can't really think it unless you allow it to sink into you. Then you can feel it and sense what is going on. But what the fire is trying to tell us, that we should create and develop a relationship with our heart. And the only way you do that is to create a condition where you can connect to your heart. We allow you to integrate your intuition to your instinct, and that allow you to take action rather than overthinking about a particular thing. Unfortunately, most things that we worry about won't happen to us, but we tend to worry about a lot of things. We worry about illnesses, we worry about poverty, we worry about relationship, we worry about so many things. But most things that we worry about may not actually happen to us, but we just get into that race that doesn't take us to anything. But encounter with fire shows us that once we learn how to develop a relationship with our heart in a healthy way, it begins to create intelligent way to solve a lot of intelligent problems that we have in this world. And one thing that shows throughout this story is that there's no way that you will avoid or escape challenges. Challenges will come. Even if your parent left you a lot of money, a lot of connection, you might have a resources to solve a money issues or job issues, intelligence issue, or beauty that solve the issue that you can attract more people to you. But you will still have a problem in other area of your life. You might have a problem in your mental way, how you look at things, how you interpreting your perceptions of reality. It's still your reality, but does it bring the kind of positive feelings and emotion you want to experience in your life. So this is what the fire taught us last week, to able to embrace a relationship with our heart, so allow us to integrate with our intuition in a way that make a massive positive difference to our life and the life of others. So now I move to the third sibling, and as I'm reading from the Joe Diary, please forgive me if my reading is a little bit faster or slower, but I will try to create a two characters and making two people having a dialogue. But my mimic of one other might not sound different, but I will try. So let's get started. So this week, I'm reading from the Joe Diary about his encounter with the third sibling. So it started like this. As I was writing in my diary, water arrived. At first, it started like a rain. I took my folded umbrella, opened it. But then rain continued to increase and increase, followed by loud thunder. An hour later, I was in the middle of a small island full of water. Standing on a stone in the middle, my two siblings said, "You want to see me?" So suddenly, there was a gentle voice come out from this river and said to Joe, "Hey, my two siblings said you would like to see me." So she asked. So this time, Joe was fully aware how the siblings showed themselves in a very dramatic way, and he's prepared his mind for that. So they tend to show themselves in an unusual way, he thought. So Joe asked her the same question that he already asked his two other siblings. So what is it like to be you? This time, there was just a few seconds silent, and the water looked into him and said, "Look at the water." So she asked Joe a question. "What did you see?" At first, Joe didn't see anything except the water. Again, there's another silence between both of them. So Water asked him again and said, use your sixth sense, and asked him to look at the water again. This time around, he was fully alert, he was attentive, and he looked and he saw, and he said, "I saw tiny life objects, I saw log of woods, I saw tiny stone, but all became part of water." Then Water said, "Well done. Many people use me to have baths, to clean themselves. Even they walk by me most of the time, and they only see water. Do you know that I cover 72% of the earth, just like my opposite sister, wind? There were millions, even billions of life in me. I heal the sick. I sustain life. I turn obstacles to opportunity. And the obstacle often become the way. I travel around most barriers, and I overcome them through flowing through them. I soften the hardest soul. I overcome the hardest objects. I was persistent and consistent in my way. My strength lie in apparent simplicity and my adaptability of my environment. Well, my siblings say, I can travel through the sky. Certainly they were right. or I just pass through my soil brother underneath of him. And certainly is right. I can transform myself to my twin sister. I can turn to the wind, but I have the opposite relationship with my brother, fire. Have you seen my brother, soil? Well, he is a very kind man. He's over there, she said. And then there was temporary silence between them. So Joel, hesitant and quietly, he has to absorb so many information downloaded to him by the water. So he said, "Water, water, are you there? Are you there?" And there was a loud, gentle echo coming back to him with a gentle wave across the river. So he picked his diary, he wrote his encounter down. So today, you yourself have the same ability to turn your obstacle, to make your obstacle become way. Whatever stands in your way, become the way. Sometimes you find yourself where you don't want to be, but that is where you're supposed to be. And if you have a choice to make a choice, you will have chosen something different. But today, tap into your strength like water, your ability to stretch above any obstacles that come to your way. Turn it to opportunity to become a better you. Don't let your obstacle define you. Become invisible objects of any obstacle that come to your way. When your enormous strength, courage is so higher, then your challenges will be like a tiny object in your finger. So I hope this particular podcast helps someone this week. And if you'd like to know more about this particular story or us, you can check us out on our website at www.lifeforlivingwell.info. Once again, my name is Richard, and have an amazing week. And see you next week when we finish up the story with the sibling soil. Thank you and stay safe.